y'all, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And in today's video, we are going to be diving into the brand new palette released from Nomad Cosmetics. This is their newest palette, the Safari palette. It is so very beautiful. Definitely looks like a safari. And I know you can't tell this from video, but the palette packaging is like fur-ish. Kind of makes me think a little bit of the like subculture. It's really nice, and it's all, you know, nice and matte with the animal print, and then all of the lettering is in gold around the edges as well. And then of course you open it up and it is this beautiful palette. Definitely a very neutral palette, but that middle row greens, I love a neutral palette that's kind of got the dip or has a focus on or dip their toe into greens. I'm always in for it because that's a neutral palette. That's a neutral color story I'm always down for. So I was really excited to see what I could create, how creative I could be. And honestly, I'm just going to throw this right in here right now. But this color story, with it being more neutral and with a hint of greens, makes me think of the new Odin's Eye Stone and Rock palette. That's also that kind of neutral with the, you know, with the feel for greens. Should I do a video just comparing them and seeing if I could create similar looks and talking about the similarities and differences? If you want to see that video, please leave a comment down below, and if I get enough comments, I'll do that video because I feel like that'd be fun to do. But anyway, getting back on topic, this palette is launching soon. It was just announced on social media. I wanted to create a video showing you guys 3 different looks that I created with this, and also give you guys my official review at the time of me filming this. Doing this look, this is my 4th look, so I feel like I have enough of a feel for the palette to give you guys my review and let you guys know what I think about the palette. So that's what we're doing in today's video. If you want to see my swatches of this palette, which kind of surprised me, we'll talk about it in the video, but if you want to see my swatches on this palette, I will be putting them over on my Instagram, and once it's live, I will leave it linked down in the description box if you want to just hop over there. But I just couldn't manage to fit it in during the video, so I will have a link to watch that swatch video over on Instagram if you were curious. But yeah, 3 looks. We're going to dive into 2 just having a music overlay, and then the 3rd one I will do this look and I'll do it live on camera and talk with you guys and talk through my review for this palette as I create the 3rd and final look. So let's go ahead and just hop right into the first look and get going and seeing what type of looks I can create with this newest color story from Nomad Cosmetics. Okay, so I just used the Glam Light Icing eyeshadow base, and we can dive in. I want to see how dark and green I can get my outer corner, and I'll probably use just the lighter browns inside. I'll probably use this all over my lid since I haven't featured it in the video yet, and yeah, that is my plans. So yeah, we'll just finish out with one final look. I'm gonna go into Honking Hippos, and as I go, I can share with you guys my review for this palette. We're just gonna take this, and I did tap it off twice just to try and make sure there's as little fallout as possible since I did complete my face makeup already. I usually don't bother. I feel like I always tap off at least once just out of habit, but I did it twice. Very determined taps because I really don't want to make a mess. So I'm just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put green over it because you guys know me, I like it nice and dark. I guess I could have probably used the black instead of the brown. Oopsie. But this is what I picked. So we're going with the brown. That's okay. And then I'm going to just take that same brush, give it a quick clean, and I'm going into Chef's Island, which is that darkest green. This middle row is, of course, where my heart is. I like this middle row a lot. All the greens are gorgeous. And then as you can see, like quality-wise, they're very pigmented, just as I would expect from Nomad Cosmetics. I feel like when I was swatching this palette, it was a little bit of a softer swatch. So I know I'm going to share on my Instagram at some point, hopefully around when this video goes up, my swatches of the palette, so you guys can see if you want to check that out. But when I was swatching them yesterday, they definitely look a lot more soft and subdued than I feel like they go on the face, because like tapping this on my face, I feel like it's very pigmented, it's very smooth, it's very rich of colors. And also, you know, take into consideration, I swatch it with my finger, nice flat, you know, whatever, not textured like a brush is meant to pick up shadows, so maybe that's it. But I don't know, it was just something that caught me by surprise when I was swatching them yesterday, because I was expecting them to go on and look a bit more richer and stand out more, but they actually showed up a lot softer than I expected. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the B5, and we're going to go into Vampura Plains, this middle green. So pretty. I'm going to put that all over the outer edge. But yeah, as you can see, really nice. I'm tapping it over before I go. I guess I could have brought this a little farther over, but that's okay. We'll make this up as I go per usual. Very pigmented. Even these lighter tones are going on really nicely. That green went on top of the brown really nice. I did feel like it kind of gave it a whole green hue to the outer edge, which is what I wanted. I just always like it to be a little bit darker than that shade was, so that's why I decided to use something first. One of the two darker shades, either one. Like I said, I probably should have used the black. I feel like would have been even more intense, but obviously this brown is intense all on its own, so no, not bad at all. Alright, so I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to go back to that tiny brush, pick up Chef's Island, which is the darkest green. I'm going to go back in there, tap it over, and then I'm just going to take this and start bringing it in like that, because like I said, didn't bring it up as high as I wanted. Yeah, really nice quality. I think it's, I mean, especially with mattes, I feel like they really can speak for themselves as long as I got the color and the lighting right. You can see how nicely they blend. I really like how that's looking. Let me catch this side up. Quick plug, if you like beautiful handmade coffee cups, I will leave her link down below. She's a mom. She hasn't made anything new in a little while because she just had a baby, but she makes gorgeous cups, all handmade, also unique. She has an Etsy shop now. I'll leave it linked down below, but I have several of her cups. I even have one in here. Absolute favorite. It dropped during the move. The handle broke, so I am using it as a cup holder, or a brush holder, obviously, since it doesn't have a handle anymore, and I didn't want anyone to cut themselves or whatever, but I couldn't get rid of it, so it now sits on my makeup table as my cup holder. But that was one of my favorite designs I've ever gotten from her. This one's really pretty too. I got this one for my husband for Father's Day, I think, a gift, I forget, but it's very pretty. Okay, so now at this point, this palette, as I've already mentioned, is pretty neutral besides that middle row. Not a bad thing if you're looking for a neutral palette at all, but just something to keep in mind. So as I'm creating looks, the inner corner, I'm going to go with a more warm, I'm going to see how orange I can pull it, which I think I might have some success since this is going to be more of an orange on the lid. I'm going to go with this shade right here to put into the rest of the crease right in here. So I'm just going to take it on this brush, one of my favorites from Sigma, the E33, and I'm going to pack it on to make sure it stands out because I'd like it to show up as orange as possible instead of just kind of like a neutral brown. I want it to stand out and be vibrant. Kind of like a burnt orange, or I don't know if you say a burnt brown to make it orange, I don't know. It's not super browny. It has a little bit of orange pop to it, or orange hint to it. So still neutral, and kind of like you get a really simple eye look that isn't too colorful, but pairing it with the green, I feel like definitely, in my opinion, helps the orange stand out. So it just looks a little bit more, I'm hoping, especially when I put the orange on the lid, looks a little bit more colorful and popping orange instead of just a neutral brown. But that is really pretty. So quick and easy. Just for fun, I'm going to take a little, what is this, 36, yeah, 36 brush, and I'm going to go into this brown right here, and I'm just going to richen up that crease, kind of where this green stops, and just kind of go back and forth right here. Just so, I feel like sometimes you can't really see this. It depends on how good I do my cut crease, but in the rare occasion that I do my cut crease well, where you can kind of see this spot, I like having an ombre from dark to light. And then just take a little bit more of that. I don't think I even said, but this is Elusive Leopards. That's a fun name for a shadow, but there. And the mattes are all done. Wasn't that just beautiful and effortless? Love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna dust off underneath. Honestly, very, very little fallout, so not bad at all. I'm gonna go into this NYX glitter primer that I am just like scraping by because there's so little left. I have another one ready to go, but I'm just trying to get every last little bit that I can out of this. Wear time for this makeup has been very nice. I did it one day where, I forget which look it was, but I did it, and then we went out all day. We were literally just outside sweating all day. It was on a weekend, working around the house and whatnot. And that night when I checked my makeup, oh yeah, we even got caught in the rain because I went to a birthday party and it was outside and it rained. So that makeup went through a lot, and I don't remember, I don't think I did, because by the time we came home I was so pooped I didn't think about it till after I was starting to wash my face. But I've been trying to, when I remember, to take pictures after the end of the day, but that makeup still looked nice. I think it was on this side. Maybe, if I remember right, because I think this is my more hooded eye. On one of my eyes, the matte area where, like right out here where the matte and the shimmer met, like that corner, was a little faded, like it had kind of disappeared. Again, I got caught in the rain, so probably took a little bit more of a beating than just a regular wear or sweating or whatnot. But anyway, that spot was a little bit bare, and honestly that was very like critical. Not saying it was like gone or obviously looked terrible. It didn't look bad until I got really up close in the mirror and I saw out here just a little hint of fading. It looked, you know, I could see my skin through it. It looked like it had worn off a little bit. Besides that, and just the teeniest bit of, you know, kind of merging or bleeding upward with the shimmers into the mattes, very minimal. It looked great. I was super impressed and pleased. So let's go into Roaring Lions, and I also want to use Mighty Buffaloes. This is Mighty Buffaloes, and where is it? Roaring Lions. Those are the two shimmers I want to use. And I'm just gonna go right on my lid, and I'm gonna go straight up. Kind of tempted to try to fit 3 colors on my lid today because I feel like it's been a while since I've done that, and that's always fun. I don't know if I should though. This Roaring Lions definitely, it's one of those marbled shadows, which I remember them doing in the America's Parks palettes, I'm pretty sure, and I don't remember having a hard time picking it up. Now this is after I've swatched them, so I've kind of pressed down on it. I feel like there's a lot of times where I don't notice anything wrong with the shadow because I'm just using it with a brush, but after I swatch it, then I can struggle a little bit on picking it up because maybe the oils on my fingers mixed with it. But this one I am struggling a little bit. It looks like hard pan because I'm kind of going around it and I'm able to pick it up, but just something to note. I didn't notice this with the marbled shadows before I swatched it, so I'm pretty sure that's why, from just swatching it and mixing it with my finger. So if you're not someone who like swatches your shadows, you know, just because you like to or for Instagram, I would just say keep your fingers out of it and it'll be fine, because I didn't have any trouble picking up the silver shade when I first dipped into it. It picked up just fine, but this one was definitely, I had to like really rub it in there. You know what, let's just go. Like I said, let's try it. It's been ages since I've tried to fit 3 on one eye, and I'm trying to go back. I'm kind of going back and forth between this green or this. It's like a brighter green basically. I'm going to do the brighter one because I feel like this shade is going to look a little too close to this brown. Yeah, it'll look too close, so we're going to do, can I do this? We're going to do those two. So we're going to go into Nile Crocodile, which had little flecks in it. It wasn't quite a marbled, but there was little flecks of stuff. And then Mighty Buffaloes. Those are the other two. Let's see if we can fit. Just barely. Hopefully I left enough room. So Nile Crocodile first. I'm going to use this to kind of mesh this orange with the brown. We'll put it right in the middle. Bleed it over. Suppose if I was thinking about this, I should put this first and then the orange to the brown, but oh well. We'll make it work. Not too much, because I don't want to run out of eyelid space. These shimmers are really nice. I'm not the craziest big fan of the marbled, not only because it like got hard pan pretty easy, which I feel like is not common for my experience with Nomad eyeshadows, but I just don't like having to like think about what the shadow is gonna look like when you go into it, because you have to kind of like, oh, this is what it looks like, but what's it gonna look like when both of those mix together? Will it go? So I don't love that about it, and then also with it just being a bit of a more difficult formula to pick up. But I'm going into Mighty Buffaloes next. But the regular shades are really pretty. Definitely not my favorite colors slash formula that they've done recently. Definitely their multi-chromes have been absolutely amazing. And they're not, these colors are not incredibly sparkly and like blinding sparkle. They're much more of a fine type of gentle shimmer that's very pretty. So definitely, you know, catering I think more to the everyday type of eye look for sure, but it's still pretty. It's just a different type of sparkle that I think you need to be into. If you tried or like the type of sparkle that was in their Valentine's Day palette, the Love and Death palette I think it was, I feel like all of these sparkles are a lot more subdued. There's still sparkle to them, they're beautiful, they got nice pigment to them, absolutely, but it's just a little bit more of a gentle, soft sparkle when you're wearing them. But they blend together and into each other really nicely. I always like that in a shimmer for sure, that they're able to kind of mesh and blend. And I mean, it's no small task to try to get 3 to stand out on the lid, but I feel like even though that brown is like barely on just because my eyelids are the size they are, you can still see that brown. So I'm happy with that. And then we're gonna go back to that dark green matte Chef's Island and pack it on. But besides that day when we got rained on and you know, there was a little bit of wear on one eye, only one eye, the other eye looked fine. With the mattes in this palette have held up just as I would expect Nomad mattes to. I've been really pleased with them, and I think they look really beautiful. They're just a different type, you know, that you have to keep in mind when you're, you know, thinking about buying this, what type of shimmer they are, and do you like that type. I'm just gonna go back into a teeny bit of Nile Crocodile, which is that middle shade, and I just like to tap kind of haphazardly around just to kind of help. I don't want there to look like tiger stripe lines on my eyelid. I want it to look more of just like a bleeding of colors. I understand it's not the correct order. I really should have put the green, then the orange, then the brown, but oh well. Welcome to my world. Always thinking of the great ideas afterwards. All right, now I'm gonna go into Chef's Island and let's put this, got a little bit of fallout here probably from when I packed on the outer shade. Doesn't look like a shimmer, just looks like the mattes. So I'm gonna take this, not really tapping off because I want to get as much as I can on here. And I might just do this shade down here, and then I think I'll take a little bit of that black like that. And then I'm going to touch, I guess with this shade, or this type of brush, it might be a little too loosey-goosey. I'm going to take into Rumbling Elephants, that smoky black. This might not be the best brush to do, but let's see if we can get it right in here without poking my eyeball. Just like that, just to give a little bit of depth without taking over. And then taking the lighter shade of green, connecting it back, and putting a little bit of that up in here. And that's gonna be the lower lash line, nice and simple. Okay, let me finish out with dusting off. Where is my brush? Dusting off. Yeah, it looks just like all that dark green. It doesn't look like any of the sparkle fell, so that's good. Let's put on my inner corner highlight, which doesn't have the best in this palette, personally for me, what I like, but I'm going to take a little bit of the silver and this pink. I'm going to kind of mix them together so I get nice and bright, but also light. Nothing too, I don't want too silver. So I'm just going to kind of haphazardly tap into both of them and see what type of look we get. Definitely nice and sparkly. The type of fine shimmer formula that is in these the shimmers in this palette is really nice. Great for working with your inner corner. The shimmer, the silver one that I'm using is that kind of hard pressed type of marbled shadow, and then the pink I'm using is a much more softly pressed shimmer. So there's different formulas, but they're mixing together pretty well, and I feel like that silver is just taking the pink down a notch, so it's not too crazy pink on the inner corner, and I'll just kind of mix and buff them together. I think that worked, but anyway, this is the look. I'm gonna add a wing liner and put something in my waterline, catch this side up because I forgot to do the lower lash line, and then we can get some close-ups of this look unfinished out and give you guys my final thoughts on the palette. So be right back. Okay, so 3 different looks. I've given you guys my thoughts on the formulas when it comes to the mattes and the different type of shimmers in this palette. Overall, it is a lovely palette, and I kind of like to keep my reviews open-ended. I'm sure if you're not new here, you know this, but for me personally, I like to give you guys the pros and cons for a palette, or at least the pros and cons with the formula in a palette, and then you can decide for yourself if you like the palette or not. For me personally, this is a fantastic everyday palette for me. It doesn't super like thrill me and excite me as far as like getting super creative, but it definitely excites me in the fact that I can get creative with a neutral palette if I'm wanting to go very neutral on the eyes, and I create a look with this. I still feel like I'm getting a little creative, being able to throw in those greens in there, or a little bit of that orangey tone or silver, that type of thing. So I like that about it, but it's just still very subdued and not super crazy creative. But if this is the type of color story you like, or maybe you're more into the neutrals but you like a splash of green so you can kind of add it to a look as you feel like it, this is a great color story. And when we're talking about the different formulas, I love the mattes. I like most of the shimmers. I wasn't a crazy big fan, as I mentioned, of the, you know, marbled, but honestly there was only 2 of them that were heavily marbled in that aspect of having to kind of mix them up to see what color you get, so not a huge deal. So overall, I think Nomad Cosmetics did a lovely job giving you a very neutral palette, but not making it like a boring neutral, kind of like Urban Decay neutral. Like Urban Decay releases so many palettes that I just look at it and I'm just like, that's boring. Or Too Faced even, or what's that, Tarte, I even forgot the name, Tarte. They are always launching neutral palettes, but they're so uninteresting. But this, with the packaging, with the saturation, with the different hues, the way you lay it out, the way they do their shimmers, they're always so beautiful. These are neutral palettes that I can get behind. So this is another one from Nomad Cosmetics. This is not their first type of neutral palette, but this is another one from them that I thought the formula was lovely. I enjoyed creating the looks with it. I enjoyed the colors they put in, so it's a thumbs up for me. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys in deciding if this is a palette for you or not. I do have a code with Nomad Cosmetics if you want to use it. It is Lady Katie, and you can use it at checkout to get a discount. I'm always bad at remembering the discount, but it gives you a discount, and if it helps you save money, that's awesome. It is an affiliate code though, so I will get a kickback if you use it, but if you do use it, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. As I said in the beginning, if you want to see me compare it to the Stone and Rock palette from Odin's Eye, because both of them kind of launched close to each other. The Stone and Rock palette has been out for a little while, but I don't know, maybe when I put them together they won't, there's differences there. You definitely can't get, it's not like an identical palette, but just the vibe with it being neutral and grungy greens in them, it just made me think of them. And I like, you guys know I like kind of battling palettes out and trying them both, you know, one on each eye. So if that would be a video you would like, please leave a comment down below, and if I get enough response of interest in that type of video, I'll definitely do it. So with that said, that is going to do it for me. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up just to help me in the whole YouTube algorithm. If you made it this far, thank you so very much. I always put a little emoji character over here that you can leave down below in the comments, just because watching my video this long to get to that spot in the video and then leaving that comment down below really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. And if you're not following me over on Instagram, as I said, I will leave the link down below to the actual swatch video once it's live, but if you want to follow me over there, LadyKatie92 is my handle over there, and I like to post close-up eye pictures, swatch videos, little tutorials, that type of thing. I don't do it often recently, but I'm trying to get back into it, and yeah, if you want to see those type of videos, that's where I'm at, LadyKatie92. And with all that said, that is going to do it for me. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.